a little bit chilly. It's a little bit cold in Central Florida today. Sort of in the Orlando area, Kissimmee specifically. I'm at Shingles Creek Park. It's about 50 degrees, but it's okay. It's a beautiful spot, and I'm grateful to be here. I am grateful for a lot of things. And I'm sad about a few things as well, and that's what I'm here to talk about. My walk across America is officially over. I am off the road now. Yesterday, my friend Tim drove down to Immokalee and picked me up from my hotel and drove me up here, and he got me to a safe place, which is what I needed, because I was not safe. I was in a hotel. I had my needs met, but I was not safe to be alone because my mental health had degraded to the point where once again I'd found myself I don't talk about my mental health very often to very many people, and the idea of putting a YouTube video out discussing mental health is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And I'm going to think about it while this airplane flies overhead. I'm going to stall for time. There's some fitness walkers out there on the boardwalk, and it tickles me pink to see people wearing mittens and an actual parka. I mean, it's 50 degrees, it's not 5 degrees. So anyway, in 2012, I was diagnosed with bipolar 2, and over the course of the last 10 years, I have been hospitalized 5 times for suicidal ideation. The last couple of years have been pretty good, though, and I have been fairly consistent on a medication regimen and seeing a doctor. And I thought that I was ready for a big project like walking across America. I felt stable. I had medications with me. I was taking them regularly while I was on the road. I didn't miss a day. And unfortunately, the way my mind works is that when I put myself in a position where my hierarchy of needs, my base level hierarchy of needs, are not met or are in question anyway, there's an uncertainty to my safety and to my physiological needs. I start taking bigger risks. I start feeling more invulnerable as a reaction to being vulnerable. And I don't realize that I do it. So I start taking big risks, and I put myself in danger. And when the sun set on day 20 and I didn't have a place to camp, and all of my assumptions were wrong about what Miles City looked like, there was nothing in Miles City. It's an unincorporated township of about 4 or 5 private driveways with no trespassing signs, a lot of swamp and canals, a lot of alligators growling from bushes, a lot of water, a lot of mud, and no accommodations, no hotels, no truck stops. There's nothing there. There was just nothing. no safe place to camp. And I'd put myself in that position, and I had nowhere to go. I thought maybe I could walk my way out in the dark, do some night walking on the road, but all of the semi trucks blared their horns at me. I mean, I had headlamps and I had reflectors and flashing lights, and but with just a 3-foot shoulder and fenced in roads on both sides, there was really nowhere to go. And very rightfully so, the traffic on that road was not happy seeing a walker on the shoulder with a big ass cart in the dark. It was very dangerous for everybody, not just for me. I wasn't just putting myself at risk. So I abandoned that idea. I tried to hitchhike for about 90 minutes in the rain. Nobody stopped. I tried calling up an Uber and a Lyft from 22 miles away, but nobody came. So I was stranded on Alligator Alley at night in the rain. I had a nervous breakdown right there on the side of the road. I completely broke down. I lost my composure, and I called my sister and just cried for 15 minutes on the phone. I couldn't even really talk. And I wanted to throw myself off the overpass on I-75 in front of a semi-truck. I actually wanted to do that. It felt like the only way off the road that night. I did not feel like I had any other options. Fortunately, that feeling passed. At least the most intense aspects of that feeling passed. And I ended up pitching my tent on the side of the highway underneath a street lamp, and managed to get a little bit of rest that night. And the next morning I successfully walked to Immokalee and got to my hotel. And along the road that day, I decided that I wasn't going to decide to quit right away. I was going to give it 3 days. I was going to rest. I was going to eat. I was going to get to safety. And I was going to make a decision. But along the road, I still had a suicidal impulse to throw myself in front of trucks as they passed me on the road. And I hadn't had that in the previous 3 weeks walking from Key West. I had to restrain myself, and there was one time where I had to get off the road and sit down in the grass alongside the panther fence and just wait until I felt a little more stable. And I realized then that there's no way, not with the way that I think and the way that I process feelings and I process big challenges and uncertainty, there's no way that I'm going to make it across the country alive. Physically, I am completely capable of walking across America, and it makes it a bitter pill to swallow that it's up here and it's in here that is stopping me. I need some time to think, and at least I can say I walked the Florida Keys and I walked across the Everglades. That's cool. I mean, I did that, and I lost 10 pounds, so that's good. One last thank you to everybody. I'm very blessed with the people that I have in my life. The support and the love that I get from all of you is very encouraging, and I want to express my appreciation to everybody that over the last 10 years, me struggling with my depression, that when I reach out, you're there. And to the people who might be watching this who aren't in my circle, I want to say that I've had to learn that reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a show of strength. And I was just discussing this with somebody the other day, that being afraid and being brave are not mutually exclusive feelings. And thank you to everybody else who I've spoken to about this so far for understanding that I need to put my mental health ahead of my ambitions, and in this case, a lifelong dream. And it is sad to see a lifelong dream sort of slip out of my reach, but it's not my only dream, and it's really not the end. My plan from here is to spend a few days in Kissimmee with my friend Tim, kind of get my head on straight, and I'm going to rent a car and I'm going to drive home, and I'm going to see my son, go visit my parents, and make a plan for the next stage of Walkscapes. Walkscapes will not be thwarted so easily. I do have an idea for the next stage of the game. It's just going to be smaller in scope, more bite-sized trips, something that I can plan beginning to end instead of just pointing at a map and aiming in that general direction and spending every day with big question marks at the end of the night. But anyway, I wanted to update you, let you guys know that I'm off the road. My walk across America is over officially, and but Walkscapes will live on in another form, and I'm doing well, and I hope you are all doing well, and take care, everyone. There are more miles to come.